You've talked a few times about just like you love working with talent that wants to like play ball and lean into it. What does that exactly mean from like their perspective? Like, what is their contribution to that process?
It depends on the show. An actor is always going to come into your chair, and it doesn't matter if they are somebody who's a day player on a cop show, or if they are somebody who's a main cast member, or if they're, a big A-list actor. They're going to come with their understanding of who this person is that they're embodying. And so then it's my job to say, okay, these things you're telling me about this person. Like, I like to ask questions from whomever, whether it's the actor, whether it's the writer, whether it's the director, that tends to be more who would answer that question. But like, what's their backstory? What's their motivation? What was their life like before they got here? Were they wealthy? Were they, did they have access to food all the time? Did they, were they socially accepted, or were they more of an outsider? Like, did they know how to do all the normal social things, like put makeup on the right way? So like there's so much social commentary and like I don't know the right word for that at the moment. I do put lip gloss on for a living, but but essentially there's so much like social information that you can get from an actor, and that may not be like grounded in anything. If there's something in a script, great. This person has tattoos, this person has a scar, this person is, 45 and beautiful, whatever it is. Then you interpret what those things in the script are. But it's the like graininess that I really love.
Do they actually like, I mean, I'm just thinking now, like a background in a police show, like is one of them actually coming to you and be like, can you give me a scar? I think I got shot once. Like what? What is the actual level?
But the answer
of,
is no.
No, right?
When you're dealing with background, like they may want most of them, especially in New York, or around here, because we have so much of that. They're professional. They're professional background players too. So they really they know us. Like there's the same people that I see on different shows, and we catch up, and I say, oh, how's your family? How's this stuff? So there's a community aspect to that with background players as well. That. And I don't tolerate anybody that does the hierarchy with background versus principal and first team and stuff like that. That's something that just always has rubbed me the wrong way, because we are all human beings coming and doing a job here. So I want to give that person who's coming into a background chair the exact same amount of respect I would the person who's number 3, number 2, number 1 on the call sheet.
Unless they're annoying, and then fuck them. But
you got to do what I say. But I have a really good one for that, where if somebody, because this happens with men a lot, where they won't want to shave for something that we need them to do, and they'll be for like a 1920s period thing, and they'll have like, well, yeah, but no. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can get by with not having to shave your beard that like, so I give them the option. I say, look, I would love for you to stay here and make the money today, but I totally get it if you don't want to do that and you want to jam. Mm-hmm. 99% of the time they sit down and let me do what I need to do.
Cool.
Because it's like you want to, generally, people are getting hired based off of something about their look.
Right.
So if somebody's got, you can kind of tell when somebody just like personally doesn't want to shave like a scraggly goatee or something that they're just very attached to. But literally. But, that kind of a thing, you're like, do I really need to worry about it? You're going to be really far in the background. That's where that really depends on what the job is, where you can like let that go. Or again, Ben Stiller, there are no corners that you cut with Ben Stiller ever. Do not ever cut a corner. Like Ben Stiller is movie brain in all things he does. He's really, and that's one of the joys of getting to work with him, is that nobody's trying to cut a corner because it costs too much money, or because it's like, he doesn't do things that are extraneous, but like something we tend to do a lot. Like if you don't want to give a guy a haircut, put a hat on him, right? Don't ever do that on a Ben Stiller job, because he might, it's not just Ben. I think it's anybody that comes from a cinematic storytelling background, where you come to set and then these are your chess pieces to put where you would like them to go, not to dehumanize us as we do that, but we very much are like parts of a picture that they're painting. And so, if you limit what your director can do by saying you can't take this person's hat off of them because they're not ready underneath that.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost this very similar thing to like when there are certain people that don't allow like cell phones anywhere near the set, like because it is a distraction, and so there is a level of filmmaking or TV or whatever, like it can get overboard at some point, but at a certain point you are in a professional environment. Like you got hired for a reason. If you're not willing to do that part of your job, why did you get hired?
Yeah, like you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.